Alright, hello everybody, my name is Azalea and Kari, and welcome back to the channel. Today is the final video of Pokemon Masters League Season 5 because today, excuse me for the volume of the music, today is the finals of Pokemon Masters League. I've made it to the final battle. It is going to be myself versus DankestDad, a rematch of Week 3. Where our teams are pretty much the same from where we were last time. So it's just going to be a straight up rematch. Last time was a pretty interesting game. I ended up coming out on top. And yeah. I will go over the teams again. We have Kyurem, Darkrai, Galarian Slowking, Dondozo, Mega Venusaur, Zeraora. We have Lowkicks, Flamigo, and Crocodile, with Terra Lowkicks having Bug, Ghost, and Dark. We have Silvally Fairy. We have Copperajah, and we have Terra Glastrier with Ice, Fire, and Dragon typing. So my team, as always, is Mega Lopunny, Zapdos, Greninja, Latios, Victini, Pecharunt, Scizor, Terra Deontay, Shaman. Terra Deontay having Fairy, Fighting, Poison. We have Terra Rhydon, Abomasnow, and Quillfish. This is the final game with this combination of Pokemon. I do have another league also starting next week, and I'm so excited to make videos about that. I will have a preview video up pretty in the beginning of the week of next week, or maybe tomorrow, depending on what day this actually goes out. But I am so happy with this team no matter what. I absolutely have loved crafting teams with this squad, crafting 6-man builds, 6 Pokemon builds every week. And so we have one last time going through the team that I will be bringing to this matchup. And then we will go to the replay. I believe this week I will not do a live commentary like I did last week. I am going to be far too nervous, I believe. And I would like to just play the match out and then show you how it goes afterwards. So I hope you all enjoyed the live commentary last week, and maybe we'll look to do more of them in the future for matches. And yeah, I will be right back with the team that I will be bringing to this finals match. Here is the team that I will be bringing against DankestDad. And we're going to start by saying that these are almost the exact same 6 Pokemon I brought. Many of these sets are probably the exact same. There are a couple of changes throughout. But here we go. We start with Greninja. We have Grenade. The Greninja holding Life Orb and running that Protean as it's done most of the season. We have 252 HP to be bulky, 100 attack, 4 special attack, 152 speed to outspeed exactly Kyurem by 1 point. We have a naughty nature because we're running a mix of physical and special. We're going to run low kick, dark, surf, U-turn. Low kick, I didn't do the exact calc, but I think low kick should do a lot of damage to Kyurem and probably OHKO it, if I had to guess. DankestDad might be pretty bulky, could be pretty bulky on it, so it might not be guaranteed. But as long as we can chunk out that Pokemon, it shouldn't be too bad. But anyways. Next up, we have one of our 2 Terra Captains. We have both Terra Captains coming this week. We have Bibu the Deontay holding Lumberry this time. We're running Terra Fairy, 258 HP, 252 special attack, and 8 speed. Running a modest nature to do a lot of damage. We're running Earth Power, Moonblast, Spikes, and Psyshock. Psyshock being very good into Venusaur. We have Earth Power to do damage into Zeraora. We have Spikes for hazards, Moonblast for most everything else. And yeah, I mean, Deontay has been such a joy to have as one of my Terra captains. And this Rock is gonna hopefully put in some work and carry and do some heavy lifting. Next up, we have Queen Lola the Lopunny. The Mega Lopunny, as always, running 88 HP, 252 attack, 176 special, sorry, 176 speed to with Jolly Nature to outspeed Darkrai. Running Endeavor, return, and U-turn in close combat. Endeavor is to attack. Endeavor is to bring down a potentially low Dondozo, so that way we can Endeavor, and then we have the first, and then even if it means we have to sack the Lopunny for it, it really shouldn't, but there's a chance it could. But really, it's a really good way to do Endeavor damage. If we're looking at something like a Rest Dondozo, which has been brought probably a ton of times by Dankest. All right, so that's Lopunny. Next up, we have Green Ranger, the Scizor, running Boots. We're running 252 HP, 76 attack, 180 Spadef, Adamant Nature, Bullet Punch, Knockoff, U-turn, Roost. Scizor is a very important part of this team. We want to make sure that Scizor has time to do knockoffs, but also can keep itself healthy by eating attacks and then roosting up. And in general, we just don't want to make it have to just keep switching into potential hazards. And then next up, we have one of the more Pokemon that I consider to be so important to this team, which is going to be Rhydon. We have Silly Joke, the Rhydon, holding Eviolite, Terra Fairy. This is the Pokemon that I will most likely Terra in this battle. With Terra Blast, Earthquake, Dragon Tail, and Stealth Rock. Dragon Tail being important to be able to force Pokemon to have to keep eating cycles of Stealth Rocks and or Spikes, or both potentially, depending on how this goes. For sure. Rhydon is going to be, I think, a pretty key Pokemon in this battle. Yeah. And next up we have Latios. We have De La Soul running the Choice Scarf once again. This has been such a monster with Choice Scarf. We're running 120 HP, 252 special attack, and then 136 speed, which outspeeds Scarf Kyurem and outspeeds and potentially if I ever lose the Scarf, or as you'll see, one of the moves I have is Trick. If I ever trick my Scarf away, I will be faster than all of his 95 base speed Pokemon. So we're going to be running Timid Nature, we're running Draco Meteor, Luster Purge, Trick, Flip, Turn. And I think that Latios is going to be really crucial here to be able to just rip Draco Meteors right into... It's going to be really clutch, even just to be able to rip Draco Meteors into... Even a Spadef heavy Dondozo should do quite a lot, to be honest. And it's great. Now I have a Levitator. I have something that... Because last game, he brought Earthquake. And Earthquake could be really disruptive. I believe it was on Dondozo, because it's kind of surprised me that it had Earthquake. But yeah, this is the final Pokemon that we bring into this battle, and I am looking forward to playing this match and having a great battle with one of my great friends, in DankestDad and the Plus Ultra Palafins. Before we get into the battle, shoutouts this week to Wagon Fruit and Nice vs. Nami for helping me with prep for the week. Thank you to Neji Boston for prep throughout the season. And thanks to all my opponents for wonderful games. And from here, I will see you after the final battle with the replay. Ladies and gentlemen, the finals has concluded between myself and DankestDad, and well, let's get right into it. We have from DankestDad's side, Dondozo, Mega Venusaur, Zeraora, Slowking Galar, Darkrai, and Kyurem. So difference is he doesn't have his Flamigo, he has Kyurem this time. Kyurem's a much bigger threat to my team, but I was pretty prepared for it in general. I came in feeling pretty confident. I mean, this match just skill wise can go either way. I just thought that I had a very large advantage, and I would have to sweat way more than last time. Last time had a bit more variance on it that really stunk for Dankest. Where like I think we would have had a very close match, and so that's back in week 3. So, I came in hoping that there would be less like variance in that regards. But yeah, let's go right into it. So in general, in coming into this one, I remembered he was Spadef Dondozo last time. I think I thought that I didn't think it would necessarily be the same. I thought it might be a good idea for him to bring the same Dondozo because it seemed good into a lot of things on my team, but we just had to wait and see what happened. So turn 1, the reason I lead Rhydon here is because I want to Terra immediately. I want to get Terra up immediately, and I want to do stuff with my Terra, which is be able to live hits in total. But yeah, so I immediately Terra'd into Fairy and got rocks up. My opponent, he went for Body Slam this time. I was a bit surprised to see the Body Slam play, and this is just like going for paralysis hacks, which is 30% chance. And here I've ripped a Earthquake. I want to see how much it did, and it did 24%, which tells me that my opponent was going to be max def. So here he got a Body Slam off before me because I used Dragon Tail to and then I learned he was Rocky Helmet, and so from here this was really bad. I was staring down Kyurem, and I think I maybe needed to do slightly different calcs, but I like just looking at specs Kyurem, which is to me seems kind of plausible. Like he's probably gonna have a specs user on his team in order to deal a lot of damage, so I had to but instead he actually went for a double back into Dondozo, and I went into Scizor, which not the best, but certainly was a good check. Looking back, I'm a little surprised, but I think I did so much. I think doing all that much damage to Kyurem was really good. I was just able to use knockoff to get rid of his Rocky, because I could not take Rocky Helmet Chip the entire time this whole game, because a lot of times I am gonna have to bring stuff like that in here. I go right ahead and bring in my thing, and then I saw a Waterfall, which did kind of scare me a little bit. But then on the switch here, I went for Draco, and I hit the Draco, so I was doing 40%, which I thought was pretty good damage coming from my opponent. But yeah, it was maybe a bit surprising compared to what I was expecting, but yeah. So from here I was like, okay, well I was ripping a Draco into the Dondozo, but this was a really good result. And here I was forced to hard switch because I still have my Scarf active. I switched into Sludge Bomb, which was really nice. He switched back into Dondozo, and I just used knockoff again, which was fine. I could have U-turned out the first time, but here then I went for this, and he went for a Body Slam, which did 25%, which did a quarter of my Latios's health, which was really bad. I probably could have switched to like Deontay here, to be honest. I think Deontay was also a reasonable switch, which had threats of just getting down spikes. I think I was very focused on being offensive here, so I ripped Trick, and I was able to take the Assault Vest off of Slowking, which is how I figured. I mean, I had an idea that it was already going to be a Assault Vest. I was surprised that Assault Vest, like, I'm not that surprised that it mitigated, like, Draco to how much it did, because Slowking Galar does have base 110 special defense, but, well, base 130 special attack does a lot of damage. So here I just took a flip turn out, and I went back to Scizor expecting another Sludge Bomb. In here, I was able to just U-turn out, which did 33% to Venusaur. And here I was just threatening a Luster. I went to threaten a Luster Purge, but instead I actually clicked Draco. And Draco missed, which is very disappointing for me because I was really hoping that would hit. Because anything that switched in on it was taking a ton of damage. He has no good Draco switches. He has to hope that I'm just clicking Luster Purge or Psyshock. And instead I clicked Draco and I lost it, which I switched to Scizor. Last time he was a bulky Darkrai, I should have expected different. I should have gave it specs to see what the damage was like. And I got hit by a Dark Pulse that did 67%, which was a high roll. Which is a high roll Dark Pulse. Which means that now Scizor is pretty much which, like, I needed Scizor later in the game. I was hoping that I would be able to serve. Like, if this is like a middle thing, I have a lot of health. I'm still forced to switch. But later on, I'm actually probably able to switch back in on something and not just die in 2 hits. But I switched to Deontay, who comfortably takes a resisted Dark Pulse with 26%. And now I could have predicted a switch. I probably could have predicted the Venu switch. And even if I clicked Earth Power, I was dealing a lot. But I did just go for the safe. Click because there's so many things here that just, like, there's still 2 things that take not a lot of damage. And I thought Moonblast was the correct click. But here, I also think that this is a Venusaur that could be Giga Drain. So I had to switch. And I switched into there. And here, I just decided to rip a Draco, and I missed again. So Draco would have done more this time without the Assault Vest. And I missed 2 decently important Dracos, I believe. But it's all part of the game. Draco is 95% accurate move. So, like, don't really know what would have happened. Like, if they hit, like, I don't really know. I thought for sure he just clicked Sludge Bomb, but he actually had Scald, and so he was able to get the Scald kill on Scizor. I took a long time to decide what I wanted to do, and as much as it hurt me, I felt like that was the correct move. And then I brought in Greninja, and then he brought in Darkrai, and I was actually able to get what I wanted, which was I was just going to U-turn out. I was like, wait, why I'm bringing this in? I'm just going to U-turn out, which is silly. But this was fine. And then here I was able to switch to Latios. And this is when Zeraora came out. And I was pretty concerned by this. I wasn't sure what he was. Then I realized he was just going to use Knockoff. So I just went for the Knockoff here. He does switch out, and I clicked Moonblast again. The reasoning for Moonblast this time was I figured he was switching, that he wouldn't want to take an Earth Power this early. And maybe Earth Power was still just the correct play. It honestly probably was, to be honest. But I had some reasoning in my brain, and it was, I think, that Earth Power, if he brought Kieran, Earth Power didn't do enough damage, and then I'd be in so much trouble. So we do rip the Psyshock here and lower his special attack. I rip another one. I don't know why I feel like he was going to rip a Giga Drain here, but I guess if he didn't go Giga Drain the first time, I certainly shouldn't have expected it the next time. So I definitely should have just stayed in and ripped another one, and I could have gotten, and I probably would have KO'd Mega Venusaur. So that was a little bit of a bad play on my part, but I don't think it was the end of the world. Here I just go to Lola, I click return because I want to see how much damage it did. He just goes Leech Seed here, and just does a little bit, and then I just U-turn out on him. And I bring in Latios again on a Synthesis. So he was playing this super smart because I didn't have that much to really do that much damage. Here I ripped Luster Purge. I just ripped another one. I probably shouldn't have let him. I probably shouldn't have done. Like, there's a chance I should not have done this, but I didn't really have any other great ways, in my opinion, to do this. And I flip turned on this because I wanted to get a flip turn KO into it, but I ended up bringing Deontay out. Deontay lives, and this was basically where I think it got very tough, was looking at an 11% HP Zera aura, realizing that it was actually just man. But yeah, I think that I realize now that, like, okay, this is gonna be a really grindy, gritty game between us. We're 32 in. I had no real switch. Like I guess technically I could have brought in Rhydon, but then but then he just makes the same sack he does, or he would have, which was just he just clicks knockoff. So maybe I was supposed to take the switch and then immediately go to Lola. But I think he still would have been faster, which would have been tough. So, like, there wasn't a lot I could do here. So he just and I think here I should have. There was probably another trade I could have made, but didn't feel like anything else. So I just took the trade of Eviolite for this. And I didn't really have anything else to switch in on this thing. So I had to let Rhydon go down because my Zera Aura is gone, so my Zera Aura check is gone. Latios is in, and then Dozo gets switched in on Luster Purge and just goes down because it's much weaker. And here I should have had a suspicion with Kyurem switching in now that Kyurem was Scarf. But I have nothing. Honestly, I have nothing I can do into this. I can't switch Lola in. The only thing I really could have had was have more health, but it was fine. So, like, here, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna click the move that KOs and hope that I'm faster still. That he's bringing this in because he has nothing else. But then I saw that he was indeed Scarf, and here he doesn't want to let his Kyurem go down right away. Probably recognizing that close combat was the only click, which forces me to have to switch Lola out here. Because if I leave Lola in, now he just brings Kyurem in with Freeze Dry. And it can KO. Yeah, I thought that, because I just thought that close combat, just if he just wanted the damage, he could have it. I think the end game was still interesting. So here I go back to Gren. He brings in Kyurem. And from here, I just have to hope and pray. It's looking bleak. I have Lopunny versus these two. I don't have enough damage into this. I don't have enough damage into this Venusaur with Lopunny after a freeze dry. I know this, but we're just hoping and praying. Essentially, it was a 50%. It was a 50% freeze dry. A freeze into a thaw. I would have been so upset if I had lost to a thaw, to not thawing out, but I did at least thaw out and get the KO. And here, 57%. I don't even know if the crit would have. I don't even know if crit would have KO'd here, but we can check. Return, crit. There was a no, into a 57%. 15 out of 16. No, yeah, 15 out of 16 rolls to KO with a crit. So crit for the season. You see here, crit for the season. GG's either way. And it came up a mid-roll, which wasn't enough. And DankestDad is your PML Season 5 champion. Mega Venusaur did I think he managed things very well, and I think maybe perhaps I felt pinched into bad situations when I didn't have to, but Venusaur having Giga Drain was a big threat into a lot of my Pokemon, like into a bunch of my Pokemon. I never saw the fourth move here. I learned later it was actually Earth Power. It wasn't Giga Drain. So there was definitely other things I could have done in the game. However, uh, playing a what if game um doesn't do the justice of how good DankestDad played. And I think I played well too. I just think maybe there's a couple things I could have cleaned up, like maybe just earlier, better play earlier in the match. I still think I did really well to not to like make sure I got the Rocky helmet knockoff as quick as I did. Maybe I took too much chunk on the. Maybe taking the body slam was not the greatest thing, but I don't know what else I really could have done into his Rocky helmet. I don't know what else I really could have done into his Dondozo, so I'm not that upset by it. I think it was a great finals overall. This team was amazing. I end this season at a record of 10-2 with a 22 differential, and I'm very happy with it. DankestDad and I end with the same record. Um, I don't know his differential because we don't. I kept track of it on my own, but yeah, overall, I absolutely love this team, and I'm also very excited for 88 goals. So expect that video coming up. So today is the final day of May. It's May 31st. So June 1st or June 2nd, expect the 88 goals team preview. I'll go mon by mon, pick by pick, and I can talk about my team and go through the league. So I'm very excited for that. Thank you to all my opponents this season for wonderful matches. Thank you to Flying Kraken, our commissioner. Thank you to my prep partners for this season. Nice vs Nami, Neji Boston, Wagon Fruit. And I believe I also got some help from Central along the way. And just general encouragement from Flying Kraken. And yeah, I'm happy to take runner up. And we'll see what happens from here. I believe Kraken actually told me I do get a runner-up prize, so I'll have to see about that. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and I look forward to getting right back into another draft league and getting at the grind again. So I will see everyone next time. Have a great rest of your day.